the week, and we had to, whenever you have a sick kid, it sort of disrupts the whole family. And she's finally feeling better today, and it's good to also see Melody and Serena as well. So we're all in a period of no sickness, temporary no sickness. So I think we're blessed and thankful for that. And our hope is that this will continue for as long as possible. And so it's we have Testimony Sunday this week, and every month this is a dedicated time for all of us to share what's going on in our lives, to share what God has been doing in our lives, and it's just an opportunity for us to encourage one another by sharing how God has been glorified in our lives, and it's meant to be. We want to hear from everybody, whatever you're going through. It could be, a difficult time that somebody else may also be sharing that difficulty, and by sharing your own experience, that could be very encouraging and uplifting for others. And whether it's a happy time of praise, we all go through times of difficulty and times of praise. We want to hear about all of it. Whatever you've been going through, we want to hear from you. So, if anybody has a testimony to share today, I'm gonna give everybody a couple moments to mentally prepare. I know Charisse likes to volunteer people, but we'll give everybody just some time to reflect. And just listen to God and see what He's telling you to share and to speak about. All right, I'm going to call up Charisse to share the first testimony.
So, as you all know, our church has been a victim of hate crimes, and we've had, in the past years, we've had break-ins and damages from people who just were not respectful of our grounds. And it really hurt our community, and it hurts us in many ways, emotionally, psychologically, financially, especially. And so we've still been recovering from all of these damages. But in the past year, we had an opportunity to apply for a grant with the government to help us with building more security in our church. And we were waiting to apply because they had a specific date that they were gonna open this application. But each time we checked, it still was not open, so we don't know why they weren't opening it. So we sort of just forgot about it. And last month, near the end of another grant's application date, we remembered about that grant and looked into it, and we're just, I think, a day away from the deadline. And so Mohammed, Sharon, and I just like put together everything last minute and submitted it. And just this past week, we got approved for the grant. And so I just want to thank God for all of your prayers and thank Him for this blessing, because we know that it's just one of His many signs for all of the things that we've been praying for. And so, please continue to pray for the other grants for our building that's going to help rebuild our community and help us reach out to more people. That's my testimony today.
Yeah, I love that. I was wondering when Charisse was going to share the good news, because we found out a couple days ago, and it was ecstatic, like filled with joy. Is such, it was a prayer answered, because as Charisse had mentioned, we've been, this is a big building, and we're so blessed that we have this building to meet in, because not everybody does, right? But we've experienced so many attacks over the years, the break-ins, the vandalism, and we're a small group of people, so it's been a lot of hard work to upkeep the building, and to even finding like the funds to do the repairs. It was a big challenge for us, and we've been praying to God to offer us that help, and we've been sort of hard at work applying to these grants, and finally when we got this grant approved, and especially like Cherie said, it was like the last day to do it, and it was like we had to pull everything together like the last second, but we got it all submitted, and so it was like, to be honest, like when you apply for these government grant things, it's always like, oh, okay, well, we don't know if we're gonna get it, we'll try, you're just not sure, but yeah, it came at such a needed time, and it was just like really encouraging for us, from trying to get some grants over the last couple months, and our original one that we had applied for, that one was not approved, but yeah, is it still open? Yeah, okay, so then I guess we have another opportunity to apply again. We didn't get approved the first time around, so and since we didn't get approved for that one, it's like, which led Charisse to go and find, what's another one that we could apply for, and we were able to apply for that and get the funds. So super thankful, super blessed to get that approved. Do we have any others that would like to share their testimony? All right, Reza, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so thankful for that thing you said about it. I'm from underground church, so I know what's the building and this place that we can come together and pray and talk about the God, and what kind of bliss is that. So yes, we're so thankful for that, and especially I want to say welcome again to Janet. We worry about you last week, and thanks God for healing and everything. Okay, I have a testimony that I want to share with you. My English not good yet after 1 year, but the good news is I write it down to make it easy for myself and you. But the bad news is I forgot my glasses, my reading glasses. So no, this is not my reading glasses, okay? But I tried to make it easy. Okay, I just wanted to share a simple testimony from my recent reflection on the Psalms. In reading about David, I was struck by two things. First, his honesty with God, how they poured out his thoughts and feelings. It made me realize the power of open communication with God. The secondly, David's unwavering trust in God's reliability. Despite life's change, he was sure that God would remain constant. It is a reminder for us all that God is unchanging. I find great comfort in adopting David's attitude of openness and trust. As I was reflecting on these insights, Psalms 62 verse 8 came to mind. That is said, trust in him at all times. You people, pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. This verse beautiful encapsulates the essence of what I discovered in David's life. trusting God at all times and finding refuge in Him by pouring out our hearts. May this verse resonate with you as it did with me. Happy testimony. Thank you.
Reza, I loved how when you came up here, there was a qualifiers. Hey, I wrote this down on a sheet of paper because my English is not good yet. Because you're gonna be excellent. Your language skills already amaze me. Because I'm like, if I was in the same situation learning a brand new language, it takes a lot of courage to come up here and speak. It takes a lot of courage to even speak in your own native language, and having to do it in a language that you're just learning is even more scary, right? So I love it when you come up here to speak. It's very encouraging. So please do it more, everybody. Yes. So yesterday we had so for a while we've been talking about church is not just a group of people that come and meet here in this building on Sundays once a week, right? It's a community. It is a family. We're a family of brothers and sisters, and so it's so much more than that. And we've been talking about, hey, let's get together, sometime and just have fun together and enjoy each other's company. Talk, what's going on in our lives. Share a bit of our lives with one another. And yesterday we finally had the opportunity to do that. A couple of us ladies, we had almost like it was a girls' night out, I guess, and Charisse had planned it, so thanks to Charisse for planning. It was, we got together and we ate, it's like a Filipino cuisine. It's called kamayan, where it's on banana leaves, you get a whole feast. There's rice, there's fish, seafood dishes. If you Google it, you're gonna see the most beautiful presentation of the food. So it was such, and some of us hadn't tried it before, and so it was such a good experience. And we actually ate with our hands, which is very we don't really. It's rare to do that. The whole thing was eaten with our hands. There was no utensils, but it was such a good time. We got to try a lot of new flavors. It was a family-owned restaurant with only a few seats, and then after that. It wouldn't be a complete girls' night out if it wasn't for some shopping. So a recent hobby of mine that actually Charisse, Mitra, and Mohammed, they've been doing this for a really long time, and I only got into it this year. Is thrifting, right? So it's what that is you shop secondhand. And it's almost like treasure hunting. So you dig through, 99% of the stuff isn't going to be great stuff, but the 1% of things that you do find it's like finding a treasure, right? So that's what we were doing together, and some people / person was looking for a wardrobe refresh. So that's a really good opportunity to do that there, because it's more sustainable. You're shopping secondhand, and it doesn't break the bank. It's very affordable to do that. So we had a really good time doing that, and it was just it's things like these, activities like these, just going over to each other's houses, hanging out, doing all the informal things that allow us to strengthen and build those relationships. So I just wanted to share that, and we should plan more of these in the future, and we want to. We're talking about doing this periodically, having little gatherings, and so those who couldn't make it can come next time. And we were saying, the guys should, too bad this is a ladies' night, right? The guys couldn't experience the fun, so it's okay, maybe next time we'll invite the guys too. So who knows? Yeah. So it's really, really fun time. Do we have Mitra? I'm going to call up Mitra to share her testimony.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you again. Well, I've seen a couple of you last night, but the ones I haven't seen. The verse that I read today is from 2 Corinthians 1:9. The verse that I read today, and it reflected of the few days back what I was experiencing, is 2 Corinthians 1:9. We stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on God. Last week I had an incident that, okay, prior to that there was all, but this is the closest testimony I can give you. I just picked up 2 suitcases, and that's on Wednesday. My sciatic nerve got really badly hit. I couldn't walk. The same day, one of my friends, which she's a retired surgeon, she called, and she told me what to do. Not to, escalate the pain and stuff, because I didn't know to go to the hospital or, And thanks to Cherise, she massaged me and I took medication. And I was just thinking that, is it something that happened that I couldn't do other things? Is it stopping me from doing things that I have to do? Because I was invited, I knew I'm invited to this girls' night. And then I was invited to I can't say she's a friend, but long-term person I know. She's not a Christian. And the people who are there is all more for entrepreneurs and women who are in business. I thought about it, and I thought, okay, I would go, but like this, how do I want to go? I can't sit, I can't stand, So I thought, you know what? I'm going to tell her that I'm going to come. It was last minute, but I'm not going to cancel. So saying that, where I was praying, relying, I said, okay, is that from you? I want you to heal. If my belief doesn't work for me today in my life, the Holy Spirit, He went to send the Holy Spirit for my strength. If I can apply it, who am I fooling first? Myself. So I prayed, I touched myself, I said, I want your healing hand. And if you want me to go, provide it. Give me that strength and take away, I can bear pain, no problem. But not that excruciating pain that I can't stand, I know most of you have experienced the sciatic nerve. It hits here and then goes to the leg. See, I'm standing now. So I decided to go, and thanks to Marok and Cherise, they drove me there, and Cherise picked me up. It was lovely and very good experience that I had there. None of them know the Lord. But one of the girls there, she knew the Bible. She wasn't even, not the Bible, the story of Bible, Jonah. She spoke about Jonah. And I went, wow, this is amazing. People who are not in faith, well, Christians, I don't know, they don't read the Bible, but they know these stories are true. Maybe metaphorically, but is truth in them, because you see David sinned over and over again. Jonah was scared. You see all the truth in there. I don't say word by word, it's true, but there is a truth that 2,000 years has come. And people like that, they know they're real. Is it the Spirit or God is working? That's why we need to, for myself first, to testify. For there, I got her number. I'm going to invite her to our gathering, to the church, or I don't know, maybe it was something. But just saying that, as I read, do we rely on ourselves mostly in our life, or do we know we have someone that is bigger than anything in this world and can do anything? But in small things, we get stuck. We can't move. This was my experience this week. I have for last week, but no, leave that one. This week. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for that, Mitra. And I think you're so right. It's when we rely on ourselves, when we make our own plans without God, without consulting in Him, we could get very discouraged. It's like, the physical ailments, say, whether you get sick, like something happens in your body, or you're just physically not able to. You're like, I made these plans, but I can't go. But in these times, maybe we should ask God, hey, do you want me to go there? Because if you do want me to be there, then you will find a way to get me there. So it's really His providence, and we're sort of leaving it up to Him. So that's just, I think, a really good reminder to us to ask, like when we're making our plans, or when we feel they're disrupted or something, when we're discouraged about them, is to ask Him, hey, like, God, like, show me, tell me, do you want this to happen for me? If yes, I know you're going to bring me there, and if no, then maybe there's a reason that you want me to stay home and rest. So either way, trust in God's providence. Do we have any others that would like to share their testimony? We just had a Lerma walk in with QQ. In the back there, yeah. Oh, Janet. Welcome up, Janet. So I'm so happy to see Janet. I didn't expect to see Janet today, because Janet was sick over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So it's so good to see that you're well enough to be here, because I didn't even know that you were going to be. And so, yeah, so God intended for you to be here today, and that's why He brought you, to make you well enough to come up here, right? So.
Thank you. Good morning. I like everybody's thanking God for everything. For the past 2 weeks, I have been really, really sick. It's not only me, but both me and my husband were sick. Neither of us could help each other. But, at the time of need and the time of, He always sends someone to do something. I want to thank Cherise that she got me some groceries last week, and it was very helpful, and it was very nice of her to offer it and to bring, although she just leave it and run away. But it was really nice of you, and I'm really, really happy and grateful for that. It's not that my kids didn't want to help, but they have little children, and I don't want them around, so I just let them stay where they are. Anyways, we both of us were very sick. For a very long time, I wasn't sick like that. I'm sick, I have my pains and whatever, but to be in bed, not able to get up, not able to cook, not able to do anything it was terrible, because who know me, they know me. I don't like to sit around. I like to move around. But God has given me the strength with all the prayers, with my prayer, and I'm so thankful that I could be here today. Thank God for everything, and no matter what you're going through, no matter what difficulty, He never sends you alone. He always go before you and prepare the way for you. He's always there. and always trust in him. Sometimes you feel that you're alone, but no, you are not. Because he says that he will never leave us nor forsake us. He also says that we can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens us. He gives us these assurances, and through his word, through his many blessings, that we all are here today. So thank God for each and every one of you. Thank you all again for your prayers and support. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Janet. Thanks for coming up here to share. Our AV person. Our AV guy is there watching the kids, so he's multitasking. Do we have any others that would like to share their testimony? Ja. It's been a while since I heard from Ja, because I know the last time that she shared, I think I was like away, so I couldn't hear. But Ja's gonna come up now. Ja? John, you're next. John. I know they sound very similar, like a couple letters apart. Ja or John. Okay, both of you will have an opportunity. It's okay, don't fight. It's okay, you don't need to fight. You know, like...
Well, I hesitate to tell you this little story. You'll learn something about me that's not always so good, you know. But about maybe 5 years ago, I was out walking my dog around here, and I had at that time a little beagle. And as I was walking past the school here, a German Shepherd that was on the loose, didn't have a collar or anything else. But anyhow, he ran over and grabbed my dog by the neck and knocked my dog down, and had his mouth around my dog's neck. Well, I punched it. Not that I wanted to punch the German Shepherd, but I wanted to get my hand in and out of there in a hurry. So I punched it. And then the owner come running around, and he was completely violent. He was so mad that I had punched his dog, you know. And before I could explain or say anything, before I knew it, we were nose to nose. You know, I thought we were going to get into a battle, you know. He was about 35, and I was at that time probably about 77. So we know how that would have turned out, you know, really, don't we? But anyhow, we didn't, although some neighbors were watching and everything else. And so when I left, I was really praying about that, not so much about this fellow, although I prayed for him for quite a while, but I prayed for myself for handling it poorly, you know. There's no way I should have been screaming at this man just because he was screaming at me, you know. It shouldn't be that way, you know. But anyhow, that's what I did at that time. But that left an impression on me, you know. Watch what you're doing. Last week we were talking about body parts and what they are and everything else. Well, the tongue can be an evil thing, you know. We got to control that tongue, you know. But I'll just fast forward to a couple of weeks ago to tie this in. And I was in McDonald's. I go to McDonald's every morning. There's about 3 or 4 of them around here. I get to know a few people and sit and talk to them and stuff like that. But this one fellow, I talked to him for quite a while, you know, but him and his wife are there. And his wife brought up something about this war and the bombing in Gaza. And I let them know that I am pro-Israel. They were saying how evil the Jews were for bombing, all the damage and the people who were being killed. And so I let them know how, I'm pro-Israel, you know, really. I can't say all those things, you know, but right away it was unbelievable how much bad feeling and hatred there are around. His whole demeanor of his face and everything else changed. He was smiles towards me before, and he was completely, his face, I can't describe how he changed, you know. And, but I thought about this other thing with the dog. You know, I can't argue with this man. I can't say anything, and because I could see that this was going to be a problem, you know. And so I got up and left, and you know, and actually I didn't go back for a few weeks to that McDonald's because I didn't want to confront him because I could see that he was pretty violent, his face and everything else. But I just want to say that I thank God that he impressed upon me that first time to watch my tongue, do it right, you know, and let people know that you're a Christian. You won't do that kind of thing. I felt bad about that neighbors when the thing happened to a neighbors watching. I thought, what kind of an impression did I make on them, you know? So I just want to say that that the Lord has helped me to calm myself down, because we live in an age today where hate is all over the place, you know, and people are feeling bad about all sorts of things. It was on the TV the other day about how much it's gone up, hatred for all sorts of people and all sorts of things. And I just want to thank God for all the good he's done for me, you know. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that story with us, John. And it's you know, it's these challenging situations that we're not necessarily prepared for, that you know, God really like uses to test us, right? Because when we're having a good day, we're like all happy and things are going pretty well. It's easy for us. It's easy for us to be nice and kind and polite. But when situations are difficult, I know for myself, like, you know, when there are difficult situations, I definitely, it's hard. It's really, really hard for me to keep my patience. And if I were to come across a situation like that, it's, you know, it's these types of situations where we need God the most. Because if we just, if we like sort of give in to our natural inclinations, things are not going to turn out so well. And even becoming a mom myself to Lexi, I think this has tested my patience in more ways than I could imagine, because say if I'm like impatient with her and I get really mad or I yell at her, then she's gonna learn that, and it's gonna impact her emotionally and psychologically, and it could have a negative impact on her growth. So it's something that, you know, I've like prayed about as well, because these, you know, some situations are just so difficult, and I think I've never learned to sort of be more patient. I still have a lot of work to do, and I think it's a fine balance when we're encountering challenging situations, such as the one that John had mentioned. It's like, okay, what is, you know, praying to God to teach us, to show us how should we react in situations like these, because you know, there's like being, you know, defending yourself, as you know, when we look at Jesus, like he was so good. Like there were people that attacked him and went after him, but he you know, the way that he dealt with these situations, it was with so much wit and grace, and he just like, you know, shut these people down, like the Pharisees, for example, like, you know, and he didn't have to, you know, he didn't get, he got angry when it was justified, but he didn't just, you know, go crazy, because like how some of us or myself would react in some of these situations, and you know, and these were all like really challenging situations. So it's looking to Jesus in how to deal with these challenging situations and challenging people, because you know, those are the people that will test us and really test our character and if we're really a Christ follower. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, John. And I know a lot of us, like myself, still have a lot of work to do there too. And it's a lifelong journey in learning how to respond with such grace and wit in the way that Jesus did to his opponents. So, Jia, Jia, now your turn. I realize it could sound the same, John and Jia. If I said Jia, right? You don't know who I just said, so yeah.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Jermaine had to take the kids away because they will scream and yell if they see me up here. Can you still hear me? Yeah. Can you still hear me if I do this? Or no? Up, like this? Like this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I was kind of voluntold to be up here. Jermaine wanted me to share kind of what happened to our family a few weeks ago. I think some of you know, but we kind of had a health scare within the family. So I have two kids, you know. One is 1.5, one is 3. They go to different daycares, so they all bring in germs, and it's all different kinds of germs, and then we're always getting sick. But in this instance, Serena, she got sick, the 3-year-old. She got sick for around a week, and then the little one started to get sick. So by this time, it was like a week and a half of having to deal with, you know, sick kids, and it was just, it was frustrating a lot of the times. But I was on a Saturday, and Jermaine's, so my mother-in-law, agreed to take Serena for a night, because I guess just to like give us a break. So we were so thankful. But when I put Melody down for her nap, she woke up crying. And then, so she had been kind of having a bit of a cough and a bit of a fever. She woke up crying. I went to get her, and I felt she was like really hot. And so then as I was carrying her down the stairs, I noticed she started having a seizure. And it was, so she, like her head kind of went back, she became unresponsive, and she was like stiff as a board. It was quite scary. So my background is a nurse, and also she actually had this in the past. She had a seizure before, and I knew it was a febrile seizure. And so I was staying calm, and I was like, okay, it'll be okay. So then I brought her downstairs, and I was trying to like cool her down. But what was different about this time around compared to last time was she actually stopped breathing. She stopped breathing for so long that she started to turn ashy and gray. And it was at this point that I was like, God, is this like, can I lose her at this point, right? Like, but it was just a moment where I felt that way. Thankfully, I was just like, I really felt safe, and I felt like God was going to protect her, and she was going to be fine. So other than that one moment of kind of doubt and worry, for the most part, I was like, she'll be fine. She'll come out of it. My, I guess, nurse training kicked in, and so I started to give her rescue breaths, and I was able, I mean, I don't think I helped to like breathe air into her that helped to, you know, increase the oxygen level in her body. But like she did, after like a few breaths, come out and start breathing again. It wasn't like normal breathing, but at least her chest is rising compared to before. She was just so stiff, right? Like I think that was the reason why she couldn't take a breath in. And then we called 911. Paramedics and fire came right away. They checked on her, and then her temperature was 41 41, I think 9 degrees, so it's quite high. So they said, okay, we should send her to the hospital. So we went to North York General, and then there, so I was actually thankful because Jermaine this time around was able to join me, because last time that she had this febrile seizure, I was in the hospital by myself with her, since Jermaine had to take care of Serena at home, right? But this time around, he was there. He was able to allow me to take a break and support and take care of Melody together. So we got there around 7. And then we just had to pretty much wait around to see the doctor, which is very usual. But yeah, I mean, we were comfortable. We were given, the medications to keep her temperature down. She was monitored, so I knew, she's coming back too. And then slowly I could also see that she's, coming around in terms of just she's moving more, she's interacting more, she's starting to become her normal self. So I was quite relieved to see all that. And then we ended up seeing a specialist there, and they pretty much was just you know what, this is just a simple febrile seizure. It's not anything that we need to be concerned about. She's not going to have neurological damage from this. She'll just, it might happen again or it might not. Most of the time, kids and babies, they'll grow out of it after, there she is, is yelling. Yeah, after maybe 4 or 5. But she might be a little bit more prone to it. And then they said, there's nothing you can do, really. You can give her medications, keep her temperature down, but it doesn't really have that much to do with it. It's more the internal temperature setting, in a sense, that causes this. So they just, gave us again, what to look for in case, it happens again. And then Jermaine, of course, he likes to post and share all these things online. But in a sense, it was really good, because then people at the church, you guys, a lot of you prayed for us, and I'm very thankful for that. And God definitely, protected us during that time. And then I think another good thing that came of it was a lot of people messaged us, and they were moms or parents to young babies that were oh, thank goodness you kind of knew what to do. And then I told them, I do think about these things, and I think about, oh, what if she chokes? What if she, stops breathing? What if? And I encourage everyone to do CPR, right? And so I encourage them, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to look into it. I never really thought about it. I never really wanted to think about it. So I'm glad that I was able to use this experience to encourage them to learn how to take action in emergency situations, because it can happen to anyone at any time. And when you're equipped, then you feel so much just you're not afraid of the unknown, in a sense, right? And it's so was that everything I wanted to say? Yeah, I'm just very thankful to God for the whole situation. I felt like he was kind of guiding and protecting us the whole way. I didn't feel alone at any time in the whole night. We got home. We were discharged around, midnight, so we were only there for a handful of hours, 5 hours, which wasn't, too bad in the grand scheme of things. And by the time we got home, she was playing, and she was laughing, and she was completely back to normal. So, and then I think the next day she had a little bit of fever in the morning, and then that evening, no more fever, and she was pretty much recovered. And then of course I got sick, so that's what I'm dealing with, but it never ends. Yeah, we're very thankful to God for all of you for being here for us and praying for us, and for the community. So that's it. Thank you.
So I was one of the people that saw one of the videos that Jermaine shared during the incident, and what I did notice, I was like, when Melody was having the seizure and Jaw was like on the phone with, emergency services, and I was like, you're actually really, really calm. I was like, I messaged them afterwards. I was like, I like, because, as a mom, like if your kid is sick, that that's like one of the scariest things that can ever happen. And like at that point, it's like, you just like forget everything else, and you're just gripped by fear. In that instance, I was like, I don't even know if I would be able to even call anybody or talk if I was experiencing like my child going through that. And I think it's, it's our trust in God that allows us who know Christ to be able to go through these situations with a sense of, dealing without the fear that's like gripping us. Because without knowing Christ, then the alternative is that as a mother watching your child suffer, then you're gonna be gripped with fear, and it's only Christ that can remove that fear if we put our trust in Him. So it was like, I think just going through what they went through was such a scary time, and we all prayed for them, and I'm so glad to see that the kids are all better and here today. We were originally, today we're gonna all take them to Wonderland, like Lexi and Serena and Melody, we're gonna play, they like to play together, but and then last week Lexi got sick, so we're like, okay, let's postpone this, because it's just tag team. This kid gets sick, then that kid gets sick, and then the next kid gets sick, so maybe like, in the next couple of weeks we'll find a time. So this is gonna be last call for testimonies before we have our lunch together, and we do a bit of decorating. We're gonna do the decorating first, and then we'll do lunch. So we're gonna make the church beautiful for Christmas. We're also gonna have Christmas market next Saturday. So please come and bring all your friends, bring all your neighbors. Please speak to Sharice and Mitra if you'd like to help or contribute in any way. I know I'm going to be here, our whole family is going to be here, and I'm going to bring some friends as well. I've been to the last two markets. It's some of the stuff that they sell is like, it's really cool to meet all these vendors and see their creations, and just see the community around us come to our church and enjoy our building in the way that we do. So last call. Come on over. Our last testimony.
Hi. Hola. No. ¿Cómo digo que yo lo voy a decir en español y tú lo dices en inglés?
He's gonna say it in Spanish and I'm going to translate for him, or kind of.
I don't speak in English, sorry. Bueno, hoy tengo un vuelo a México, a Cancún.